Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Headspace Podcast. My name is Holden Stephan Roy, and this is the show where we're going to walk you through this album track by track, giving thoughts and opinions on every single song, and that's what we do over here. The homie Chris Chrome could not join me over responsible family engagement, so I said, fuck it, let's try and get this shit out same day. And what are we talking about? We talking about Denzel Curry's brand new album, Zuu. And so yeah, I'm recording this on Friday, the very same day it released, and just keep that in mind as you watch this person in the future who has probably listened to the project more than I have. And I bring this up because I want to front like I'm some fucking professional. I'm no Anthony Fantano type. My opinion is just literally my opinion and how I feel on a project. So often when I come into these artists, I know way less than like the person watching the review. So I just like to kind of give them that honesty that your feedback, your comments, anything you'd like to add to the review, because let's be real, anything in the comments is something you're going to check when you come, is totally welcomed and accepted. And if you're a little bit of a dick and it's the morning, I might be a little snarky, but otherwise it's totally, I'm open-minded. I want to hear what you have to say. On that note, I totally like to read my favorite comment of like last week's video or a recent comment. In this case, it was on the Beast Coast album review from Escape from New York, and we had a comment from, I believe, Gurmehar Singh. I'm so sorry if I said that poorly. And it was, can you react / review to Denzel Curry's Taboo and Zuu when it drops on the 31st? Well, I don't know about Taboo. I think Taboo dropped a while ago. I'm not sure about that part. But Zuu dropped, and I said, you know what? Basically, that could be an interesting option. And the funny part to me is that Chris Chrome has been on my ass to talk about Denzel Curry since the very beginning of us ever talking about albums. And Denzel Curry drops the album. I agree. Okay, we should do it. This dude in the comment requested it. Okay, nothing else is really coming out that I noticed on my radar that I thought was like super whatever. I said, curiosity time. Let's hit up Denzel Curry. That motherfucker did that Rage Against the Machine cover, and it was absolutely dope. And so let's check it out. And then Chris couldn't come. One more note though. A lot of y'all like to put the requests in the comments, and the reality is that list is like 500 albums long, so we'll get to them, because I'm going to do this for the next decade. My timeline is kind of like that. But I just wanted to let you know that I love your comments, and if the democracy of people all request and upvote and shit something, I'll take that more seriously. But when I say we'll do your album, it's because I mean it sincerely when it comes around that time. And as some of these people who've been here with the channel for a while know, that could take over a year, but then one day it just appears and you're like, oh shit, they actually did the review. So I hope to get that experience to people. The more we grow, the more we can do reviews at a quicker pace and shit. But reactions, it's not really my cup of tea. We'll try more over time just because they're easier. Before we get into the episode today, for reals though, special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, and Linda Williams. We'll touch on that at the end of the episode. On that note, just because the Google people like it when you say the name a lot, we're going to be talking about the new Denzel Curry album, Zuu. So this is the part of the show where I like to contextualize just my familiarity to the artist, because in my opinion, it makes a huge difference. So if you've been a Denzel Curry fan from back in the day, when you get to this album, you're going to have watched all the phases of his career, the different parts of it. You're going to feel a certain way. If you've heard this after 3 weeks and you've been marinating on it and you've been thinking about the depth and everything of it, you're going to feel a certain way. If you're like me and it's the very same day of and you've been binge listening to it at work so that you could prepare for this album review, sorry about that, a cat just burst in. And then you would be sitting there going, okay, this is my first reaction impressions. So I put like first reaction / album review because this is the first day. Normally I like to sleep on the project, really think about it, etc. So if anything's off, I apologize in advance. This is really just kind of what I thought about this project. I do care a lot about what you guys have to say. We did that whole part earlier with the comments, and I do also want to point out just kind of how I was introduced to Denzel Curry. Like I said, Chris has been pushing him, but let's be real. there was that time of the meme songs and shit, and then once upon a time you would get the thug life shits, and there was that song that would kept getting played, the I am the one, the blah 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 da da da. I don't know the words, but that one, y'all know what I'm talking about. It was either Ultimate or ULT or something. I've listened to both of them. Chris has played me many of his songs, and at the time, I was a bit of a hater, and so I was being a hater, and I was like, fuck that shit, I'm not down. I'm like, part of it is because the lyrics weren't 100% shit I was feeling at the time. But what I have to give Denzel Curry credit for is the energy. And the main reason I really wanted to check out this album, my most recent excitement about Denzel Curry, was that fucking ridiculous Rage Against the Machine's cover that he did. That was like, it was more incredible than anything I believe Prophets of Rage could produce, and he should just replace both he should replace both Chuck D and Be Real, and just bring in fucking Denzel Curry and drop that fucking energy, because it was what was needed in that moment. Anyway, I don't have a lot more to say about Denzel Curry. I mean, except for like the whole album review, but in terms of my knowledge of him, I'm pretty new. We'll call this like, I'm a new Denzel Curry fan type person. And this project's called Zuu, which I understand is a Miami thing or something, because he's from there. So I guess, and it's kind of like he's the product of his environment. He kind of grew up in this zoo, but it's spelled like UU and not OO, so that's, I guess it's distinct. Honestly, I don't really know the significance of it. I know that it's supposed to reflect the environment that he grew up in. Outside of that, I don't really know the Miami culture that well. So I don't even think we've done a lot of music from Miami, come to think of it, on this channel. So that's an interesting thing we should rectify and do more Miami artists. If you guys know any classic Miami albums that you think we should do on the Classic Quest, which is where we do the classic album version of this show, let us know. Plus there's a girl there. It's totally more fun to watch. On that note, the cover has him in front of a car, which definitely feels very southern. You can see that there's a convertible. It's a very beautiful car. I'm not gonna lie. I once owned a Lincoln Town car, and that car makes me think of my Lincoln Town car. And that's the kind of car, like that big old 94 mafiosa looking motherfuckers. I bet his car bounces. And that just looks fun, right? Because I live in Canada, and up in Canada, or at least in Montreal or Quebec, there are definitely laws that say cars cannot hydraulically bounce. Like, you just can't bounce the cars legally. So I've never seen the car bounce. I've never been in the car while it's doing the bouncy bounce, listening to bless ass music. So like, one day I totally hope to go down into the south and have one of y'all motherfuckers be like, you can bounce in my car. But until then, I can just kind of look at cars like this and get kind of excited. But I like how simplistic this cover is. I like how he's just sitting there in the shadows of something you can't see. I like how he just looks so fresh, and like, it's not over the top. It's not ridiculously flashy. It's almost like, this is me, this is my ride, this is just like a little invitation to come take this ride into my life and see where the fuck I come from. Welcome to the zoo. And I like the simplicity of it. I mean, I was recently reading about album covers, because I like to geek out over music like that, and how the real challenge in 2019 is that the album cover went from being a 16-inch by 16-inch, I believe is the metric of like the old vinyls and shit. So it's literally a full-blown like thing that you would consume and hold in your hands, and the art had to accommodate that. So the art in and of itself had to be good. Like, apparently you would do shit like listen to the fucking vinyl and then like just look at the artwork and stuff in this prehistoric age prior to, like, you know, I don't know, I'm too old to really have gone through anything like that. And then you had tapes, which fucked everything up with their little fucking format. So we'll just forget about tapes, because they were just chopped up versions of better fucking covers. CDs kind of kept a proportion of the vinyl album cover, but dropped it to, I believe, 8x8 or 4x4. No, 8x8, I think, or something. Either way, significantly smaller at this point. And now, when you consider the motherfucking thumbnail size, it's gotta be like that motherfucking big. So you essentially need to design for something that's so fucking tiny that people can't fully appreciate, and for the most part are not going to see. And so the way that he's able to kind of express so kind of much of his personality through such a simplistic cover, I think is kind of dope. Either way, what do you guys think about the changes of album covers over time? I mean, it likely means that in the future we're not getting that many more album covers that are going to end up as iconic t-shirts like it once was. And because like your music videos almost more of a powerful marketing tool than your, or like your social media cover photos and shit. Like your cover is just almost like a cut of like a bigger piece at this point. Anyway, that's enough of the random shit that I like to go on about. Why don't we move into the title track, Zuu. This is a short song. I'm not gonna lie, I think immediately I would have liked the song more if it was just a little bit longer. Cause the chorus is alright. I mean, 305 we in the house. I guess that's the area code. M's all on my belt like I'm Majin Buu. I mean, I don't really know what the fuck that means. I know what a Majin Buu is. An M kind of sounds like Miami. I'm not really sure. Maybe it's his belt's very expensive, or I don't really get the line. But it made me think of Dragon Ball Z, so I guess that's cool. I wasn't really the biggest Dragon Ball Z fan. Pocket full of ivy, and you know the face is blue. Which, if I'm not mistaken, is talking about like Blue Ivy, the Jay-Z and Beyonce kid. So, I mean, as far as these bars are concerned, off the jump, I realized this is not an album that I should do that thing I do where I go like super fucking analytical with the lyrics, because I'll probably piss y'all off or something. Like, to me, these are just fine. Like, these bars aren't like super significant. They're very pop. They flow nicely, but all I can surmise from this is that he's rich and that his pun game is not like that witty. It's flossy. It's alright. I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, because I know that sometimes I come off like a bit of a hater. I very much enjoy the way he sings it, and the way he vibes on it is really nice. Like, if I'm not listening to what he's saying and I just vibe with it, I find it pretty enjoyable. You know, Carol City, that's the part of Miami he's from. Boy, I'm coming through, coming out the, and then I love the way this part of the hook flips up. He's like, Zoo, 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 boy, we come. And I was like, that's a fucking fly part. The whole first part of the chorus, I'm like, okay, but the whole second part is just banging. I just like, you really get this energy up. Then you get this first verse, right, where I feel like lyrically it's the same thing as the chorus. Like, if I really think too hard, it's like but when I just let it flow, he does such a good job on the flow. The actual technique of his delivery is fresh. It's enjoyable to listen to in like a background kind of way. Like, I could say I played this album at work today because it's short. Like, the whole album's 29 minutes. So I played it at least 4 or 5 times because I was like, I'm going to do a same day review. I should drill this motherfucker into my head. And if you were to ask me any of the lyrics in this verse, maybe the in the cut like Gillette line would like stick out to me because it's a razor and he's in the cut and you like shave your face, so it's clever. Where they serve and don't protect. I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm missing some point of this track in terms of its great depth, but like, this whole part is just about my hood is dangerous. Now, I'm not hating on it. Like, it's not fake sounding. It's not like I'm selling you some bullshit vision. I'm just saying it's not like the deepest shit in the world. Like, rep your set, grab a tech, leave you wet in the project, in the cut like Gillette, where they serve and don't protect, place a bet on your head, call your bluff and make a check. Guilty until innocent. You know, it's fine. It is totally like a proper verse. And in fact, like, I'm impressed by how not annoyed I am by these rhymes. Like, a lot of other rappers can make that poppy sounding vapid top level shit, but it's annoying. Now, this sounds like you lived through this shit and like actually comes from an environment where you got to experience enough shit where this just works, you know? Glock 9x9, blow your mind, now you Einstein. It's clever, it's just not great. Like, it's like B+. It's B+ lyricism in the pop world. So I'm really digging the vibe a lot more than the words. So I hope that didn't come off too bad, but like, I have to say, like, from an energy perspective, I was a little bit caught off guard. I guess maybe I didn't really listen to his last project, but I guess I was just hoping for more mosh pity type shit. But in general, the vibe is proper, the beat is well produced. This song just feels so proper for what it is, man. And then it's like a little phone call at the end, and it's like Okay, like, yo, Rick, man, what's good, what's up? And then the guy's like, Holmes, we ain't friends. It's Mr. Rick. We don't kick it like that, fool. We don't hang at the club, dog. It's Mr. Rick. Now, I want to point out the skit because in the grand scheme of the album, it actually makes a lot of sense. A lot of this project is basically back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they outlawed me. If I were to give like the album that mission statement, it would be that Mike Jones lyric. Because he has that place where he's got that success now and he's kind of reflecting on it. So if you think about that little skit, it's kind of like he's now back in the hood, he's maybe walking around and people are going to come approach him and he's like, show some respect, man. Like there's a distance between us. We are not friends. We do not hang out. So I feel like the song checks all the boxes of being a decent song, but lacks any kind of like innovation, in my opinion. So I mean, this is just my opinion. So I give it a 4.15 because I recognize it as a good song. And let's say I'm out and about and I'm at a party or something and this comes on, it's totally proper. But like, there's a lot of songs that are similar to this that I think I would listen to before I would get to this one. On that note, let's move on to the second track on the project, Ricky. So this song instantly picks up the energy, so I hope y'all watch to see me get more like happy with the album on track 2. Sometimes people dip out when they're like unhappy with something I say. So yeah, this is my open insecurities in podcast form. But no, this song is instantly a little more fly. It's got a little bit more energy to it, and literally the hook kind of reinforces what I was saying about the back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me. Because he goes, first they mocking, now they hopping, all on the wave because they see me popping, big, large pop kids, they start flocking. Here's what I say when they ask, keep knocking. So essentially, back then they didn't want me, and now I'm hot, they are all on me. There's not much more I can really interpret from this. There's not much more depth to it. It's fly. I learned that flocking is when you attract a large crowd of unwanted men, is what I understand the term to be. So that was new language. I'd never heard flocking before. I feel like my vocabulary is a little bit enhanced now. But the song gets more interesting when he goes into the chorus, when he goes, trust no, my daddy said, trust no man for your brothers. And Ricky is like his dad. So the song's a little bit of an ode to his dad. And oh shit, somebody in the last video made a comment about my mic being dusty and I totally forgot to clean it. So I just wanted y'all to know I'm aware and I will clean it once I'm done recording this motherfucker. I lied, it took a couple seconds to clean it up right now. See, person who made that comment, if you're watching this video, I took you seriously. But yeah, so when you get to the chorus, you get, my daddy said, trust no man but your brothers, and never leave your day ones in the gutter. My daddy said, treat young girls like your mother, and my mama said, trust no hoe, use a rubber. And I was like, what the fuck just happened here? We went from like some pretty vapid top level type of shit to a different kind of vapid shit. Like, let's be real. My daddy says trust no one but your brothers. Well, just trust the people that you're down with and don't forget your day ones when you pop and shit. Like, this is all kind of straightforward shit. Like, but like a lot of people don't really emphasize it the way that they're supposed to as they're on their like hedonistic selfish quests. So instantly hearing him kind of transition this idea of loyalty and stuff, it kind of makes me like him more and want to hear the rest of the album. Like a lot more than Zuu did. Zuu was alright. Okay, it was very short. It just had like the one verse and the hook, which was okay. But this is like, okay, this guy's more interesting than I thought. Like, it makes me curious because a lot of the times these pop styled rappers, and I don't mean to sound disrespectful, but this sounds more like pop styled rap to me. It's like often you don't really get to understand the real person who's making the music, and I really feel sincerely that Denzel believes the shit he's saying here. And then the way he's like, his dad's like, yo, treat the girls in your life that you meet like your mom. Show some fucking respect. You're like, wait, did Denzel just say that? Is there a rapper who's kind of like respect women a little bit? And then my mind got fucking blown when he brings up the don't trust a lady, use a condom. Like, we live in an era where motherfuckers don't use condoms. In fact, it's almost like fucking somebody bareback is a way to prove you're dangerous and live risky and shit. It's just the wrong kind of message to be giving to kids. Now, I've been accused of a hypocrite for my giving to kids messaging in terms of me being okay with people doing drugs or whatever, but like, when you're telling people to have unsafe sex to be cool or drive drunk to be cool or shit like that, you're kind of like endangering other people's lives. Whereas in this moment, it's like, be responsible and keep yourself safe and shit. And it's just cool to hear a rapper kind of put that perspective. I'm 31, I'm not thinking quite as young as I was, so that was cool to hear, because he's 24 and he's saying all this shit. I'm Act 1, 2, Stop the Trap, Bring It Back, What It Do, See Ricky Said, Never Let Nobody Get Up on You. And then it just, I don't really care as much about what he's saying, but the way he says this verse and flows, and he has that more kind of aggressive, pumped up energy, it's pretty good. It's pretty solid. It's really engaging and makes you want to listen to, you know? Overall, I can't say that there's a whole lot in the song that's super, like, out there. Like, I really love the fact that he shouts out the influences that brought him to where he is, because I was literally just saying recently that, you know, like, Joey Badass kind of just called himself the best, and you can't be compared to anybody, and this, that, the next thing. And however good you may be, if you're saying shit like that, it's just kind of pompous sounding. And then I realized a lot of the rappers don't shout out the people, the legends that paved the way, that got them to where they are. So to see Denzel kind of take that opportunity, you know, to throw out love to 3 6, to Wu-Tang, to the Dipset, which are all the rappers he must have grown up listening to, the people that kind of opened up the doors to him. It was just like, you know, his dad used to take them to his first shows. We would only drop jewels way before they dropped cheddars, so they would get these albums and shit. I don't know, man, it just makes me feel like he has an appreciation for what got him to where he's going to be, and that he appreciates his dad for exposing him to all of this type of stuff. And then, you know, overall, he's now in a place where he's making the music and getting money, and life's whatever. I feel like the song was better. Really, it was enjoyable. It was something I could see myself really liking if it came on. I give it a 4.25. I have a lot more to say, so I wish that you all stick with me for the rest of this review.
And you don't want smoke, you don't want no switch up, cause you don't want war with a South Florida nigga.
This went in like the more kind of auto-tuney, singy direction of pop rap music that I'm like, for my pleasure, it's not really the sound I'm most into. So I got over myself and I went into this track, and I have to give a lot of credit to the last line on this hook, because there weren't a lot of lyrics that stuck out to me when I was chain listening this morning or throughout the day, but this lyric definitely did. She gonna bust it open for a designer. That part's fine. Everybody says shit like that. That's gonna be the reason why she gonna let you get behind her. All right, because you are a rich motherfucker who look real good. The girl is gonna spread her legs and let you penetrate her. I'm like, yo, I agree. That is what they all sound like. Yeah, if you wear Gucci and the girl wants that, she'll let you do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm agreeing with you. This is surprising twist of events. You might be that's probably gonna wine and dine her. And I've met people like this. I know these ones who will take a girl out for like a $200 meal a couple times like that, and then they smash. It's not that different than prostitution in my mind, if it's like this agreement where you gotta go spend all this money. Now look, y'all's dating, y'all going on a fancy expensive dates. That's not the same thing. I'm talking about the arrangement where dude is trying to smash, exclusively trying to smash, and he takes the girl out and spends a bunch of money in the hopes of getting sex. That's a different circumstance. And then if every time anyway, that's what I picture from that line, that kind of more shallow pursuit, which if you're into, I'm not judging you. I just don't think it's as impressive as taking her home using only one-liners. That's dope. That whole little part there, I thought it was fresh. I thought it was the freshest thing I heard on the project so far. I was like, damn, why does he have to be singing it in this like really soft kind of flowy chorus way? I don't know. It's not my favorite chorus. The verses are alright. I kind of find it funny how he brings up on how he's got like a half Persian girl, and then he kind of like flips it up and he's like, wait, I meant to say the chick from Nicaragua. Put her on a team because we both making dollars. And I like the idea of like him working with his girl and to push it, but I don't know. It transitions into like a rest in peace to like triple extentation, and I don't know who Tree is, but I guess these guys, I mean, everybody knows who triple extentation is, but I didn't realize that Denzel Curry was like friends with them and shit, so that was kind of sad, you know, like he's kind of pursuing it, he's kind of working towards like working on Miami scene and doing his part and all that shit, and it was kind of like nice. It was a nice little tribute there, and it just kind of flows in, but it kind of felt really very different than the beginning of the verse where we're talking about the girl and stuff. So I don't know, that kind of stuff I find weird in hip hop, but that's what it is. Chorus comes back in. Kiddo Marv is fine. He's this line really was like, he was in my city riding vert to Uzi, Lil Uzi Vert. I guess it's vertical or something is what the vert means to Uzi. I don't really know what the fuck it is, but vel is green, like that's what it means. So I read this like, in my city riding green to Uzi, Lil Uzi Vert. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong or maybe I'm misreading it, but it seems like a silly perspective when you live in a place where French is the primary language. I do appreciate that, again, Kiddo Marv here is like, never pay for pussy, these bitches ain't getting nah, my name alone gonna make me press on the hoe like a button. And like, to me, I mean, I'm not trying to come out misogynistic or no shit like that, but like, if you go and brag about getting a girl, it shouldn't be a financial arrangement because you're wealthy. That's not game. Game is you got games, so you get the girl, and like then she makes you dinner and shit. Like that's more in the line of how I see game. And then like, you know, like you get stuff out of her is more impressive than, say, it's like if you get a meal and like she irons your clothes and like shit like that, that's a little more impressive to me than you went to a strip club and got a hoe like he does later on the album. He's very upfront about it though. I like that about this guy. Still, Kiddo Marv was nice to listen to. He flowed really cool. I actually found him more enjoyable to listen to on this track than Denzel Curry. But again, this song just really wasn't for me, while being a pretty standard sounding track. Like that's, I think, another part of it. There's not a lot of like new to it. There's not something in this that's like, oh shit, that stands out. This felt like Denzel Curry was trying to make this kind of music, and he pulled it off so well that it just didn't stand out to me. So I give it a 4.15, and I do hope you all enjoyed this one, but I'm gonna move on to talking about BIRDZ. I like this because it just feels like a fresh track. Like it doesn't feel like it's so like next level in terms of innovation or anything like that, but it feels fresh in the sense that like you start vibing to it, you know, right off the jump. His verse kind of is cool. Let's start it over. I, Jehovah, come take a look at my city and its culture, city full of vultures. You're just like, okay. He kind of makes it look like you got this top-down perspective. Like, look, come check out this album. We gonna show you how fucked up my city is. City full of zoes, city full of gangsters is sticking to the code. You know, like just presenting the environment in like an offhanded kind of way. Like, yo, you're not from here. This is the zoo. And I feel like this was just fresh. Like, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. His flow was dynamic compared to what we've heard so far. He plays with the timing so well. I mean, let's be real. Fuck a pop. I gotta stop saying let's be real on this one. Fuck a Pop-Tart. We carry toasters for real. Aim, cock back, shoot at lames. Name unknown. We are not the same. Shame on a trying to run game. Was able to sell it. Now my city serving cane. I mean, like, it just is strong. I don't know if he was a drug dealer or nothing like that. That's not stuff I care that much about usually. But like, you get the sense that the environment he comes from is proper, and it's honestly like his music is fresh enough that like it just sells like cocaine is what I took from that. And he's proper. Like, it just, this is what I was kind of hoping for, more shit like this, because the writing on this verse is cohesive. The whole verse follows on through. Then Rick Ross comes in. I mean, the hook's nice too. It's got like a good vibe to it where you could just see yourself kind of swaying in the club, everybody kind of bumping to it and whatnot. And I like how he's like, and only fear one, but not fear none. And if you ain't God, well, I don't give a fuck. You know, like, I only fear what God has to say. I don't need your approval. I'm gonna keep doing me. And I really respect that about that. Like, it's got a great punkish almost energy to it. Then Rick Ross comes in, Maybach music, and I was like, oh, fuck off. But the beat kind of like skips with it, like it deliberately intrudes the track in a almost artistic kind of way. But I feel like it was highly unnecessary. I mean, we all know who the fuck Rick Ross sounds like. Like, you hear the guy's voice and you instantly know it's him. There's no dispute. He's just got one of those voices, in my little opinion. As far as like the sphere, like, there's no and living on a limb and I'm blowing him, boss. The second he did that, y'all knew it was Rick Ross, right? So the Maybach music is just an unnecessary tag plug, but I guess that's what he does. I don't really like it. Just like with very few exceptions, I don't like producer tags. That's just my thoughts. I feel like it just hurts the overall song. But it's cool. Rick Ross is smoking a bunch of pot. He's penning a memoir. He prays he lives to tell it. Never will he tell it, because that's considered careless. So, I mean, his memoir is going to suck ass if he can't talk about it. Vroom, 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 bitch, we on a move. Snort a line of this, I bet you clean your room. Nah, it's dorky as all fucking anything to me. But I have heard enough people tell me about how they have done cocaine and then immediately got to cleaning because the shit was potent and made them feel like cleaning. So, man, the line's probably clever because he said haha at the end. I don't know. This is fine. Rick Ross is one of those guys where there's a few songs of his I really, really like, but he never really impresses me as a lyricist. It's the energy. It's the energy he gives off that I think people are really drawn to, and he does a very good job with that. I mean, you might think he's a great lyricist. I don't want to shit on your opinion. I don't think he's any kind of a talented lyricist. I think he knows how to make these little one-liner bars, and he does enough of them that some of them are dope. In this song, I don't think anything Rick Ross says is particularly dope. I just think the way he says everything is fun to listen to over this beat. Denzel Curry does the chorus again. Then there's the third verse where I kind of like where he's like, butterfly doors keep the birds chirping. I don't know. Apparently that's a nod to a Lil Pump song I've never listened to, so that's that. Big top back like I'm in the circus. I mean, it's cool, but definitely not an original line. Pray, keep it all like at the Sunday service. That's a cool line if it's about like how you keep the secret of like what's going on in the Kanye West world, where it's not like super public, it's just kind of a secret. My pastor making dollars like he Eric Sermon, you know, like an interesting comment, because there is the sense where in the literal church situation it's super fucking corrupt and a lot of people are taking money like that. But then if you think about the Kanye West music spin on it, right, it kind of could be about like making money because you're a blessed ass music maker, you know. I don't know. I like Denzel's verse a lot, actually. It's again cohesive. It's like, I'm gonna do my shit, you know? I'm gonna build up my world, and I appreciate it. I like it. My city full of palm trees and bad bitches. You see if your dog green is bad business. As I understand it, green in Florida means something kind of different, but in this case, I take it as envious. You see if it's all greed, they all switching. We lost them by all means, we all missing. And that's an interesting line, because it's almost like you expect it to be like, if you fuck around, you're gonna die. But it kind of almost ends like everybody's kind of lost and fucked up in this corrupt little place that we live in. I thought this was the best song we've heard so far, and I gave it a 4.35 on 5. I really liked it. The next one is called Automatic.
Never went to college. At my shows, I make a scholarship. P. Diddy making band.
There are not many producer tags I find very good. But then, I don't know if it's the tag I like, but when I hear Take Keith, fuck these up, instantly my brain just elates with joy, because whether it's the Eminem song or whether it's the part on the Sicko Mode or all the other fantastic banger-esque songs that he produces, it's just hard to not like a Take Keith production. And the way his tag gets used almost always like hypes up the song, making it like a cool insertion into the track. Like another one I like is, if your metro don't trust it, I'm gonna shoot you. And you just want to like fucking, every time for me it's, last night took a L, but anyway, there's always some song that like kicks in, you just get this good vibe to it. Either way, I guess that's the mark of a good producer, when you get excited when you hear their tag. And this beat absolutely is stellar. I really think he fucks these people up the way that he was supposed to with the production on his track. It just has that, like, you just want to keep moving. When he's like, automatic, gotta have it. I'm not running shit like it was Madden, you know? And now I watched that thing on whatever where he paints himself or he draws a picture of himself and he's talking about it. And apparently this is just like the lust of, that's why I don't watch a lot of interviews, because then I just know what he means and I don't think as much. But it's kind of like he comes from a place where he didn't have a lot, whether it was fans or attention or money or anything. So you get this impulse where you just gotta have it. I gotta get out there and get it, you know? I just took a bitch because it's a habit. Are you mad? Now you amp, huh? Fake because you can. chant, word around town, you lick like a stamp. So it's kind of like that idea of like when you broke and then you just get addicted to the idea of having money or gaining fame, and you gotta have it, and it's just kind of then flips the script a little bit, is what I think he was trying to do in the song. Because then all of a sudden he realizes, you know, you don't want to go around with the champ throwing shade in my light, that's a lamp. So now that he's like there, it's almost like people aren't necessarily cool with him, or there's more complications and shit. Way back when I wasn't fresh, wasn't so clean, everybody knows that reference. Ain't nobody the best me, I'm just so fresh, so clean. That's a dope song. Anyway, so I like that, because he wasn't fresh and he wasn't clean and plung. He is now, but he's humble about his origins and shit. It's fun. I like it. Again, nods to the hip-hop legends, showing his inspirations, not being a jackass claiming to be the GOAT, just claiming to be successful. That's an admirable thing in 2019. I ain't no dough. I was broke. I had no green. It's my time to blow. Now I got me a whole team. Don't sleep on me, ho. Yeah, ho. Guarantee it'll be a bad dream. I like that. And apparently I'm not sleeping on Denzel, because I'm doing this album review. Therefore, I am awake in this moment. But I like the way that he puts it, that if you sleep on him, as in you go to sleep and shit, it'll be a bad dream, which is a clever little pun, because most people don't really do that, in my experience, of what I've heard. So I like that one. That was fresh. That caught me in a positive way. I don't want to go back being broke because mama need a crib. I got to go black. Shit, I came from dodging hollow tips. Used to be on LSD, but now my whole life is a trip. That's a cool series of lines too, because he's inspired by something bigger than himself, right? Like, it's not just I need wealth. It's my mama need a house, which I can relate to. That's part of why I'm motivated. My mom lives in a shit place. I don't want her to live in that place no more. I would like to move my mom into a proper place, like everyone else, I think, that's doing this shit. I think a lot of us are motivated at the idea of buying our mother's houses, but he also got the gold plaque, and that comes from a point where he was dodging bullets and shit. Like, that's a huge transition. That's got to be a mom fuck, you know? He used to be on LSD, so he did drugs, but now his whole life is just so ethereal that it is all a trip, and apparently he doesn't do drugs anymore. He's very sober. He never went to college. His shows are a scholarship, so he makes enough money to cover a scholarship at his shows. Like, that's fucking dope. And then he says P. Diddy making bands. But he kind of says P, and then he says Diddy making bands, and to me it kind of sounds like Did It making bands, but he says P. Diddy. I don't really know why, but C50's in my hands. I remember walking around the hood with some holy vans, stepping. Anyway, it's dope. People, and then he has another back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me kind of line, but like flips it like, oh, I remember when you didn't want me, and now we're all friends. And then the second verse is cool. I like when he's like, on the road to the riches, gotta look out for the serpents, watch them slither to the surface when they see your plan is working. When I started, they deserting, now they back because I'm earning. And like, I can't hate this, because at the end of the day, this sounds very real. This sounds very proper. This sounds like him and his experiences of a person who went from a certain lifestyle where people really didn't dig him, and now he's achieved. I mean, there's not much else that he's saying in his song, but he expresses the energy super well. And it's very cohesive. This isn't one like where you kind of flip topics halfway through the verse and it felt weird. This was like a proper track. This was the best song on the album so far, which is cool because I just said that on the last one. So I hope y'all stuck with me as I started liking it more. It has such a cool energy. And let's be real, Tay Keith, he fucked these people up. So let's give this one a 4.5 on 5. On that note, let's talk about a speedboat.
Big talk, speedboat. Pray to God I don't get repo.
What really sells this song and like takes it to the really like cooler part of life, because it's otherwise like it kind of at first comes off a little generic. It's not really what I'm feeling. It's okay, it's well done, like his talent is there, he's rapping it proper, but like let's look at the lyrics a little bit. It's like big talk, speedboat, pray to God I don't get repoed. That's all right, you can kind of take it like his life is so fast and shit, but he's also not got a speedboat, and then he cares that he doesn't get taken out or that his boat doesn't get taken away, which is fair. Didn't go to college for a free throw, so he gambled in a different way. He chose the music route instead of maybe playing ball or some other shit that he could have done, go to college or whatever. People getting killed through the people, so I imagine that's like you're looking through the scope of a gun and you pull some triggers and kill a motherfucker. I like the line, have your money up before you go to war. Because it's an interesting point. Because like even if it's like the music industry or shit, like I released a project in 2017, but I did not have any money planned out to really follow up with that release. So it just fizzled. I just put out a project and then it just sat there and it got like no spins or anything. So if you look at like releasing an album or competing in a music world or anything like that as also a battle, it is worth stacking up some cheddar before going to war with motherfuckers who are running on real money, who can fight back and don't want to give up their space for you. Anyway, so I really like that. Then whatever. I like the Triple Extentation line. My dog didn't make it to 21, so I gotta make it past 24, which is also like really paying into that thing, how black males in Chicago weren't supposed to make it past 25 years old, either due to jail or death and shit. So the fact that he's 24 and he has to make it past 25 because statistically he's not supposed to, that's powerful to me. I really enjoyed that. So this hook was pretty dope in terms of the writing. Like, it's fine, but it just sounds so like poppy and flary to me, and it's just like, okay, it's fine. Like, I can see why a lot of people are gonna think this is totally hype, and in its own regard, this is fresh. This isn't like the other one, like Wish or whatever. This is a fresh track. It's just not really my cup of tea. The verse is alright. I mean, put a red beam to your head like Arby's. Either go to school, go to jail, or the army. Keep a close eye on things trying to harm me. Warn me if anyone trying to swarm me. It's alright. He's flowing proper. It's like you gotta really consider. He's putting out the sociological impact of being in his hood and the violence, and you can either go to school, get caught doing the crime shit, or join the army and get out like that, which is interesting that he brings the army up now that I really think about it, because I don't see a lot of rappers talking about the army as a suitable option out the hood, like it even exists as an option. So good on you, Denzel Curry. That's an option that I never really thought about. After 2.5 years of reviewing rap albums, nobody's brought that shit up. Interesting. Keep a close eye on the things trying to harm you, just like look around the environment. Hopefully people are gonna let him know what's up, and he's got a loyal squad around him. He invests in the rock and a Rottweiler, so drugs and a fucking dog, pile up stacks, etc., and then get out when he can. I really hated the talking polo, call me Polo to Don. I did not like that line. I really didn't. Anyway, it was totally fine. But then he goes to the pre-chorus where he goes, Jesus, please deliver us from evil. Please pray for all my people. When what you see in life's illegal, I don't want to use my desert ego with that kind of singing. I believe to God and some people for like a chorus effect. And it's beautiful. That little bridge pre-chorus thing might be like the fucking gorgeousest part of this song. Like, it is so... Like, it just takes the song to another level of what I would otherwise have felt with it. Because the chorus is whatever, but that pre-chorus is stellar. It is perfectly constructed, and it's kind of like takes the tone like save us, because, God, you see all the darkness that's going on here. Why is this happening, I don't know, the second verse is fine. Pouring out scotch, gas all in my brain, it fumigates my thoughts, thinking about intricate plots to get out the hood. That's when I started to jot, so it's like pouring out the liquor for the dead homies is what I took from that, because people are literally dying in his life and shit. And so when he's considering the whole situation, he chooses to ultimately use the pen and to do the rapping thing as his option to escape from the hood. And overall, it's fine. I mean, it really has a more serious tone to it, but it's really like serious in the way where he's painting his environment in a way where you can tell that he comes from the hood. The environment is not proper. There's a lot of crime, violence, and things like that going on around him, and he somehow escaped from this using his talents. Like, pulled word on the street, everything heat, everything hot boy, Texas Pete, pulled up in a Lexus in a Jeep, all black, no tag, time for the sweep, too many guns, too many sons, lost in the river of blood in these streets, master of none, pastors and nuns, let's bow our heads for the ceremony. So I had to think about it, right? This doesn't sound like a song I would want to listen to, but like lyrically, it's pretty fucking deep, and it really takes you in this. Like, he's not glorifying anything. This isn't selling some image for the sake of like money or some shit. It's honestly like Denzel Curry is really trying to put his heart and soul into expressing the environment, almost like you need to live like you're on a speedboat and you're praying to God you're not going to get killed in the whole thing, as maybe drugs is the only way or this or that. So I like the energy. I just wish I liked the sound a little bit more. So I gave it a 4.35. I do think it's a good song, and maybe it's just my preferences getting in the way. On that note, we are past the halfway point in terms of length and songs, but we are at the halfway point in terms of track list. So let's talk about Denzel Curry's first ever interlude, the Bushy B interlude.
But you wasn't here when I was grinding. Now you wanna talk cause the boy shining. Just because you find.
So I really enjoy like the flow of this. It comes in popping. It's just kind of like more of an effect in the background as it like builds up this little 1 minute adventure. Dripping sauce, baby, dripping sauce. So it's not like it's saying a lot. It's just kind of like life is good is what you're feeling. And then he kind of does a little rappy singy verse where it's more about getting a girl. And I kind of liked a couple lines though. Like at first he was saying I wasn't hood. Since I moved, now I'm in Hollywood. And it's like, okay, that's an interesting perspective. It's like, first you're criticizing the dude because he's not gangsta enough for like the environment, or oh shit, you fake or whatever. Now that he moves out the hood and says fine, goes and does another thing, oh now he's Hollywood. Or maybe he took it in a more positive way, but I thought it was just an interesting thing. Then there's a girl who's topless and the car's topless and whatever. Lyrically, again, not necessarily thinking it's like the most innovative thing, but he flows well, and the way he raps this, I felt like you could really get a sense of his singing talent, as opposed to like the effects, and the overall flow of it is really enjoyable. It's really nice to listen to. It's a short little break in the middle of this. I give it a 4.25. I kind of wish this was like the hook on like a bigger song or something. That would have been really swell. On that note, yo.
Good? Yo. All right, Pete, we got to get a few things before we stop by. So,
So this is Mr. Plus Pierre, who produced this, who is like, it's almost like they recorded a phone call. And basically he's like, yo, listen to this person talk, just wait. And then it's like, yo. But what's crazy is you can kind of follow what every one of these yos mean. I'm like in Montreal and nobody talks like that. We are more of like a New York fast kind of pace. Like most people that I know speak at a talking speed that's like twice the South. So I imagine that, you know, none of us are like this. But the fact that I was able to interpret like what literally every yo in this song meant really expressed how the tonality of saying yo and how long you say it for, and kind of how what it's responding to. It's such a versatile word. Basically, it goes through a whole conversation, and all the dude on the other side of the phone does is go yo, except for like a couple of parts about some girl, but mostly it just goes yo, all right, yo, and the whole conversation happens, and then the call ends and he goes, see, what I tell you, that said one word the whole motherfucking time. Man, different, bro. I know people are like that, so I think it's stuff like this is really cool, and I do think he's doing an adequate job of painting different aspects of his culture, of his environment, and where he comes from. And I thought this was funny. I mean, I listened to it like 3-4 times in a row because that's how I do this review. It's like kind of a way to cheat what it will sound like after a few listens. It's like nowhere near as good as if you can sleep on it, but I thought it got funnier the more I listened to it because it's just so well made and it's so interesting. Anyway, the next track is called CAROLKART.
A real ass nigga from the 305. I was raised off a Trina.
Like, this just feels like the South. So apparently the CAROLKART is this flea market that was from the hood he's from that everybody used to go to, and it's been demolished and it's no longer a thing. Still, it's cool to like shout out to this thing, this place that you went to that, you know, like people in your neighborhood would be. It's like if I shouted out NDG, anybody from Montreal knows what the fuck I'm talking about, but like the rest of y'all have no idea what that is, which is totally cool. But like you get this whole little intro bit kind of hyping up like South Florida as being a beautiful place, and it's really cool and everything's nice, you know. We do it to flash it naturally, man. Like it's just a hype up, and then Ice Billion Berg just flows in with this South gritty sound. Like I got a pocket full of money and my teeth glitter. Something about being a trill ass. I'm so fresh, and you know what? that chorus just came off fresh, and I was with him. I felt it. I was like, yo, this has a cool vibe. It's one of those songs where if I was in a car, I would feel so fake gangster. Like, you have no idea how fake gangster I would feel listening to this shit. But it was nice, and I really enjoyed that. And then I think Denzel Curry does one of his more dynamic and fucking interesting verses in the way he does his flow on these on this track. So I really liked it. He's a real ass from the 405. You know, again, area code, that's what's up. I'm in the 514, in case you cared. That's what's up. And again, I like how he shouts out references. It was raced off of Trina, Trick, Daddy, Rick. I don't know what trick that is. Implies. I guess Rick Ross. I don't know. When it comes to that green shit, I am anti it, because I'd rather see a man live than a man die. And it feels like he's against the greed and the obsessive money and the jealousy and shit. And he wants to just see the betterment of other people and to like lift people up and shit. I was like, that's pretty dope, you know? And then he just flips the flow, like run down or you run track, oh that boy cat, get the gap, make it go brat, lead the boy flat, all black, make the black block look like Baghdad, play the track, it's a special way I fold my flag. And it's just like, it's got this energy of where he's from, the energy of the music and stuff. But meanwhile, it feels like the song is again like kind of shutting out the culture of like his influences. It's hard as fuck, but in a cool way. Where it's again not like he's trying to front like anything really. He's just kind of painting a picture of the environment and shit. Then the chorus comes in, it's fucking fresh, it does its shit. And then hear the bass down the block because the trunk keep knocking. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking a cool line, because you can't picture like the powerful ass fucking, just how this would sound in bless ass car speakers and shit. Got them Bushido blades because the rims keep chalking. You for the swag to get mommy popping. You could smoke a little weed as long as you ain't flocking. Alright, this part's fine. He's just kind of floating here. It's a little less hard. But it's kind of enjoyable still. I like when he goes, I'm the Raiden in a rap, when they tell that boy finish him. Because you can just picture Raiden floating across the screen with his or whatever the fuck he says. And that's fucking dope. It's nothing but fatalities. Them crackers gonna sentence him. And I kind of appreciate how he does those Mortal Kombat flows like there. That's actually cool writing. And then to end it, because of that, the white people are probably just going to lock him up and throw him in jail because of the violence that just happened, because they killed the motherfucker. And it's almost like to go from that like sense of fantasy to that like realistic consequences of what happens to it is pretty clever. So I really liked it. I thought this was a cool track. I give it another 4.25. I don't know. I don't have a lot more to say about it. The next one is called Shake 88. Sometimes you hear a song and instantly your brain just fills with girls' booties just shaking in all directions, and it's like you can't not picture the booty shaking when you hear the song, and it's cheating because it made me like the song more. Like right off the jump, I just knew what would happen when girls heard this song. And it made me go, all right. And then it shouts out and it pulls references from a couple of like classic songs that it's like sampling. So as an example, the intro comes from Stick That Thing Out Skeezer by Lil Jon and the East Side Boys. And the outro comes from Shake That Ass by Booty Bass. So as you can tell, the people that inspired this song, and again, showing love to the people who inspired him, are people who really are about making the ass shake in this song. And then this is kind of like, he said, fuck it, I want a fun booty shaking song. I want some shit like that, something for the stripper to dance to for my own catalog. And he made it, and it's great. Like, it's actually really fucking fun. She gonna shake that ass because she only live once. She gonna smoke a blunt, then vibe to the front. Like, somehow it's kind of making her sound strong and empowered and not just like a pointless, like, it's not like it's taking her in a negative direction with this. Then he has this whole situation where he's like admiring her and he wants to give her the money and he's willing to put up thousands and shit because he's openly admitting to the prostitution he's indulging because he's straight up like that. Then it takes a weird turn. He goes, you want someone to come and take care of your niece, huh? Because you a bad bitch, you don't fuck with fleas, huh? So I guess money and you don't deal with broke people. And then he goes, hello. And then my favorite part of the song. Here's a little something about a bitch like me. Rule number 1, don't touch my weed. If it ain't passed, don't puff my weed. With money is all I need. And there's just something about the freshness of like this girl looking at him like, listen, I'm gonna tell you what's up. First of all, don't touch my fucking hair. If I don't give you the weed, keep your fucking hands to yourself and give me the money. That's what's up. And then it flows into, the chorus, which is again just ass shaking goodness of fucking joyful bouncing, and it's got a fucking vibe to it. Like it's that kind of repetition where it needs to be repetition, where you know that everybody in the club is gonna be singing out to this shit, and it's just fucking proper. And you got the second verse where he just shuts out a bunch of fashion bullshit or whatever. I mean, not just fashion. You want somebody to take you overseas. Like those Instagram girls, those models that you see in all those places. There's fucking people who are flying them around and taking nice pictures. There's like an actual exchange where part of the deal is if you fuck this person in this nice location, you get to take the really nice pictures as part of it where the guy's not in it, so she can use it as kind of bait. And it's like a signal to very wealthy guys that this girl's into that shit. Anyway, I learned that recently. You want them ass shot, you want them double D's, you want all them diamonds trying to make your neck freeze. Whatever. Flows into the chorus and the thing again. Honestly, the chorus and the pre-chorus is what sells this song. Verses are fine, but it's a vapid song that's meant to be vapid, because do you really want to think when you're staring at the ass is shaking? Probably not. 4.5 on 5. This shit is fucking fire. I really enjoyed this one. 2 more tracks on the album, 1 more song, 1 more little skit. Let's get to the skit. It's BLACKLAND 66.6. So they are kind of running through the radio, and you're hearing some shit, and you hear a little clip of, I believe it's a mentor or like a person that Denzel looks up to, Space Ghost Perp, and his song Fuck Taylor Gang plays, and I wanted to know, what's up with Taylor Gang? Why are we fucking Taylor Gang? Not that I have any love for Taylor Gang. I was just curious. I'm gonna Google that shit after. I haven't got there yet. And then, which is part of Space Ghost Perp's BLACKLAND Radio 66.6. So clearly this song is like, this little skit is shouting out that. He plays the little cut. Then the radio DJ kicks in, and it's like, yo, it's fucking lit today. It's 87 degrees outside. Woo, but shit, still like whatever. He's going to play the next track. The next track's called Denzel Curry. It's called P.A.T, whatever. And in the car, you can hear that they're puffing on marijuana and smoking a little bit of a blunty blunt. You can almost tell it's a blunt they're smoking based on the coughing and shit. So they're doing that, and this just serves to transition you into the next track and just kind of sets you up like that. This is the most insignificant thing on this album to me. I give it a 4. But on the other hand, from the point of influences, and again, showing respect to, I guess, the environment and the city that raised you and shit, this is an honorable thing for him to do, even if I am simultaneously not enjoying it that much. On that note, 1 track left on the album. Let's not waste any more time. It's P.A.T. Pat.
Just cold-blooded niggas in a place that never snow. Will rob you for your chain, probably.
So Denzel Curry has worked on this album with 2 producers who worked with Eminem in relation to the MGK beat. Because Not Alike was the DJ T. Keith, which was about MGK a little bit. And then Ronnie J, which was, if I'm not mistaken, the one that did the beat for Eminem's Response. Anyway, that's not that interesting. He does the beat here along with FNZ. And I'm going to tell you one thing. This song, this is what I was hoping for. Like the whole fucking album. This is the shit. This is like, the beat just makes you fucking move. You can't even sit still. You want to like fucking mosh out. It taps into that punk energy type shit. This is that Rage Against the Machine shit that I've been waiting for the whole album, or at least hoping for. The chorus is just banger. Contact, sit up. I'ma hold the fort. All blast sticks out like I'm Voldemort. That's fucking cool to compare your guns to fucking Harry Potter ones, even though we both know the magic wands will fuck you up faster than a gun. But still, like the villainous side of it, it's a pretty cool fucking line. Overall, again, the lyrics on this are kind of in the same vein of like aggressive, of whatever. I'm not going to say anything in here is like super exceptional from a lyrical perspective. But the delivery, the energy, the way they bang out this. When he's like instant transmission, have your man's missing, plans sticking while my band's sticking, have your clan stricken, hands itching, guess my trigger finger, your spirit linger, get my Stanley steamer on, sniper with the beamer on. None of that resonated with me as a person. All of that felt great. It's the type of shit I found myself screaming along to one day because it's just so hype. It's the type of shit that is earworm. It's like I ride my bicycle to work, and this is the type of shit I want to be singing out next to Meek Mills and stuff as I'm like fucking flowing and getting my energy on. It's just such a great hook to bounce off it to. So like it's again one that I'm not going to think a lot about the lyrics because I don't know if again that's the point of it. It's his energy that he has that's so exceptional on this. And PlayThatBoyZay is equally as talented as Denzel Curry on this track because they split the roles on the hook because PlayThatBoyZay did the Voldemort line. Denzel Curry's verse is fucking fantastic. Beef is a wad of meat, bitch. This ain't Aqua Teen is a great motherfucking line, even though I just criticized the overall not dopeness of like the writing per se. That is dope writing right there because it's a good Aqua Teen Hunger Force line, and Beef Wad is the little beefy guy there. And I found out MC Chris came from that show. Anyway, fuck a gun, I'm gonna go whip his ass. Fuck around, have you spinning like Taz. That's okay, that's fine. All you quick to go pick up a strack, everlast, make up, take naps, used to go to sleep. I would hear that blocka, that part's. So the part right before it's like, the way he says the blocka, I think it's fireworks, but I assume it's a chopper when they hit that man that with the boom, shaka, laka. If he scope the seam, zoom, shatta. It's not what he's saying, it's how he's saying it. It's the energy on how he delivers those lines that makes it so fucking exceptional. I really, really like it. I do have to give him credit for the bars. Maybe I was a bit wrong. Maybe I was just kind of being a little prejudgy before I got into it and remembered. Is when he goes, I grew up in a city where most people have no goals, just cold-blooded people in a place that never snow. It snows in my place. I'll trade. I don't like the snow. 6 months a year we get snow. Montreal. We'll rob you for your chain, probably pistol whip your hoe. We carry hollow tips because it reflects what's in my soul. Damn, I was so wrong earlier on this track. That is some fire poetry type shit there. I mean, everything about that's deep and hit me in the propers. I mean, the idea of people not having goals is something that is really rampant in a poverty-stricken environment. So I grew up in kind of poor life, not quite like that, but still poor. And the people in my world were poor. People in my family weren't necessarily well off. And none of us was dreaming about doctors and lawyers, and none of us believed it would be possible to get some shit. And so when he says shit like that, I can kind of put myself in the perspective of recognizing just how it is to be in an environment where people don't have goals, and the fact that he does and that he's gotten to this place is almost doubly impressive. And then the violence that comes in and the idea that we have to carry hollow tips because our souls are fucking hollow, like we've all been so corrupted and darkened by everything. That's just deep and shit to me. It's very nice. I don't know that PlayThatBoyZay also he sounds great. He sounds amazing. Doesn't necessarily hit me quite the same. I do like when he's like riot, you don't want no violence, silence, tell that boy be quiet. I kind of like when he repeats that at the end, but overall his verse is more of what I was thinking earlier. But this song's a 5 on 5. I love this song. I listened to this song quite a few times. This is one where like I just knew from the second I heard it that this is going on my playlist, and it's going to be one that I'm going to binge for a little bit because it's just got that perfect energy, the perfect combination. But I want to know, and this is a serious question that nobody's going to answer, what Ted did. Because PlayThatBoyZay said that Ted needs to be freed. And nobody knows who the fuck Ted is. And so I want to know why he's free. I mean, I'm certain people know who Ted is. I would like to know what Ted did and why he should be free. Then I can offer my support to Ted if I agree with him being free. Otherwise, I don't know if I can. But I just would like to know because he brought it up. And I find it weird when people bring up arbitrary people like that. Like just out of nowhere at the end of the album, free Ted. Anyway, I still give this a 5. I still think this song's a fucking banger. And that brings us to the end of this album review, where I was kind of breaking down the album Zuu by Denzel Curry, upon which I gave the entire project a 4.35 on 5. There are definitely parts of this project that are not for me. They're airier, they're kind of fun, they're flowy. the vibe of this project, every song's a vibe that is pretty good. And I believe that Denzel Curry has a very good mastery of creating vibes with his music, of flowing rhythmic cadences that really suck you in and shit. He's got a versatile delivery in the sense that he can do multiple styles, and he's extremely talented and showcases a whole bunch of styles on here. I love the fact that he shouts out his influences so many times on this album, and he's humble like that, where he's not trying to front like he's some fucking beyond what he is. He knows where he's at, and he reps it like that. There's a definite back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, they all on me theme. I had to bring it up again just for those who cut to the end of the album. You can hear it a few times, but it's almost like it's justified because you get the sense that that's just how it ends up playing out for so many people. Either way, I don't know that anybody out there that watches this is going to like every song on this project, but I feel like it's a good sack of random in the sense that you should end up liking 2 or 3 songs of like the 9 or 8 songs on this album. The skits are alright. They serve their purpose. The features all work well. Maybach music and all that shit. So yeah, I would not recommend this to everybody, but there's a good group of people that I think would really enjoy this project, and I think it's really well made, and it makes me curious for when Denzel Curry wants to get all serious and really up his bar game. Because if I had one criticism, it's that there wasn't enough great writing on this album when he showcased that he's fully capable of it, and I just kind of wish it focused more on the writing. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Thank y'all for being here. It means the world to me that you will watch this. I look forward to reading your comments and to talking to you there, because if you make that effort to comment, I will make that effort to answer you as quick as I can. Also, you can subscribe to the channel if you want to catch more reviews. You can hit that like button if you dug the video. I would appreciate that. YouTube would think I'm cool if you did that. And then, yeah, special thanks again to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black, Hurricane, Lindell Williams. They support what we do, help us get a new camera, and just support us. And because of that, they get to tell us what albums to review and a few other fun shits that will build out and flush out over time. And I make music myself, so you can check out my work on this channel. Let me know what you think about that. On that note, feel free to watch more reviews, tell me what you want to see me cover, and have yourself a great freaking weekend.